Mic check 1 2 1 2. It's the Y2K Collector, and here is the one and only pickup for the weekend. That's right, it is Skies of Arcadia Legends for the Nintendo GameCube. And how I was able to actually make this happen was due in part to the war chest that I've been building up. Now, I did kind of have two war chests. I had one with like pretty much all of the free stuff that I've gotten from GameStop and just from people that didn't want certain items. And then I have the other war chest with like actual like decent games, like games that range within, the 10 to maybe $20 space. And then I actually have like my full-on trade chips. And these are like more higher end games that are probably in the 70, 80, 90, $100 price range that I kind of use as actual trade chips to get those really heavy hitting titles that I may not necessarily want to pay cash for. And so what I used to get this copy of Skies of Arcadia was the free stuff. So I used pretty much all of the free games that I had gotten from GameStop. Anything that this mom and pop shop would take, I pretty much gave to them, did a little bit of haggling, and ultimately was able to walk away with this copy of Skies of Arcadia with just paying just a little bit of cash on top. So not mad at that at all. This is one of the few GameCube RPGs that I can actually get down with. I am a fan of Skies of Arcadia. I have it on the Dreamcast, and to be honest, I've always wanted it on the GameCube. I just could never like cough up what people were asking for it. I think at one point, this is like a $200 game, I think at its height. It is definitely nowhere near that now. I want to say that this game is probably on average around 140, 150 bucks. I've seen some people listed on, eBay for 175. I'm not sure if they're getting those prices, but I would say this is probably like a $150 game. So all in all, not too mad with, the overall weekend. I didn't really get anything else. This was the only pickup of the weekend, which, kind of just takes me back to this being the sixth pickup of the month. And I think today's the 9th, right? So we're almost a third way through the month, and I've only picked up around 6 games. Honestly, I don't feel bad. I don't feel bad. I would rather be a lot more concentrated in what I pick up and pick up less in quantity and just, better quality for me than have a bunch of just random pickups. And I've been really tempted. Believe me, I've been tempted. I've been in different stores and I've been tempted to buy this game and buy that game, but I've just been trying to do a better job of being disciplined and not just grabbing every game that I see because I can. And a lot of times these are good games that are cheap too, not necessarily expensive games. I'm seeing a lot of quality titles that, might be $5, $10. And those are the ones that get you. Those little $5, $10 games, those are the ones that kind of get you because you don't really feel like you're spending a lot of money. But after a while, 5 here, 10 here, 10 here, 15 there. After a while, it all starts to kind of creep up on you and catch up to you. And then you realize, oh, you know what? I just spent 150 bucks on $10, $15 games or something like that. So, this weekend was a good weekend. I'm not mad at it at all. I mean, outside of the game hunting, I definitely got to spend a good amount of time with the family. Took my daughter to this indoor amusement park. She had a blast with that. And honestly, I think that's the other part of the reason why I just haven't been making as many pickups, because I just haven't really been out there hunting. Like, this year has really been more about, family time with my kids and stuff like that. And you just can't do both. You can't do both. You can only spread yourself so thin, and you can only focus your attention on one thing at a time, which kind of leads me to why I think there is a little bit of a drop off in YouTube gaming content. It's not to say that like people aren't making, content around retro gaming and things like that, but I feel like there is just a little bit of a drop off in terms of just the content that I watch. There's a lot of creators out there who make a lot of content. or who used to make a lot of content, and they've kind of slowed down. The output isn't where it used to be. A lot of it is more short form content. It's not as edited as it used to be, and that's okay. I'm not mad at anyone if they're going through a transition in life and they're just putting their attention towards other things. That's what life does. It'll do that to you. But I still think that there's a lot of really good content out there. In fact, I've been kind of just like, I'll go through. I saw a video the other day that was making a case for emulation. And I even saw a video the other day talking about how video game prices are getting out of hand. And that one kind of amused me because I was like, in 2025, people are just realizing how expensive retro games are getting. Like, are they getting even more expensive? Am I missing something here? So, just whenever you think like the hobby or the space is completely dead, it's not necessarily that it's dead. There's just ebbs and flows to things, and I think right now we're kind of in an ebb, right, of the ebb and flow when it comes to retro gaming content, and just what people expect to see when they jump on YouTube. Someone left a comment on my channel the other day saying that people are pretty much over it. Like there's nothing new to see with retro. And, I kind of understood what they were saying with that comment. I mean, if you look in your collection, find your favorite game, and I guarantee you, if you just put the name of the game in YouTube, there's probably 3 or 4 or 5 videos about that video game, right? Most video games, especially retro games, they've gotten their own mini documentary. They've gotten at least 4 or 5 commentaries. They've gotten at least 4 or 5 reviews. And that's almost every game, or at least any noteworthy retro game is going to have had someone do some type of expose on that game. And so I could understand where they were coming from when they were saying like, nothing in retro is new, especially on YouTube. It's been played out. Everyone's made a video about every game that's out there. And there's really nothing new left to talk about. And I think there's some truth to that, but I also think that that's false in a way. I think what's true is that there's only so many times that you can explain the synopsis of a game, right? There's only so many times that you can talk about what frame rate a game runs in, who the characters are. There's only so many times that a video can be made explaining a game. Now, what I think is different, and here's where I think what people can add to these retro games is perspective, right? Everybody is going to have a different perspective, and video games are going to evoke different emotions and different feelings and different thoughts out of each player, especially depending on what's going on at the time that you play that game. If you played a lot of, retro games, like if you played a lot of Super Nintendo games back in the mid 90s, that experience is going to be very different from someone who's just experiencing a Super Nintendo game here in 2025. The backdrop of the gameplay is just going to be different. Everything else that's going around you in your life is going to, shape up to make for a different experience. And, for me, playing, Super Mario World back in the early mid 90s, that was accompanied by, my mom's cooking, the smell of my mom cooking in the kitchen, fights with my siblings, just different things that we dealt with back in the day. That all the nostalgia tied to that game is going to be absolutely different from someone who may be 26 and is playing Super Mario in their apartment, and they're just jamming out, and it's something that they're doing to get by on a Saturday night where they don't have plans. There's going to be different feelings that are evoked when you play that game. And so I think it's the perspectives kind of make the difference when it comes to the stories that are being told around these retro games. And I think that's a big part of the reason why there's still going to be a lot of attention to some of these games. So I am going to grab the laptop today. We got to make some dinner early, so I should have some time this afternoon/evening to work on a video. And I'll try to put one out tonight, a little evening video for you guys. Maybe the first edited one so far this year. But definitely stoked to have been able to pick up this one, Skies of Arcadia Legends. It's one that I've wanted to add to the collection. And yes, it is complete in box. It does have the manual and all that good stuff. The disc is in great condition, so not mad at it at all. Let me know if you guys found anything cool this weekend, and I'll catch you in the next video. It's the Y2K Collector. Take it easy.